Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video, which is a review on the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics eyeshadow palette. So this is the box it comes in. It's super cute. I cannot wait to add it to my wall artwork of boxes that I have on my wall. I love how they have the shades in there and the Naked logo. It's very cool. And then this is what the palette itself looks like. So it has this awesome, I think it's kind of almost trippy artwork on the front or whatever that is. It's like raised. And it just says Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics. So you will notice that this packaging is a different shape than any of the other Naked palettes that have come out. The original Naked palettes look like this. This is their shape and they have 12 shadows. This one does have 12 shadows, but it's square, so this is the first time they've had the square. And then the original Naked Basic palettes look like this and they only have 6 shadows. So this is the first time they've come out with a completely square eyeshadow palette, although it does remind me of the Naked on the Run palette. Let me go get that one and compare. Okay, so here's the Urban Decay Naked on the Run palette next to the Naked Basic. So it's pretty much the same size. Naked on the Run is a little bit bigger and then it's a lot thicker. And this one, if you're curious, just looks like that on the inside. It has a bunch of sort of travel essentials. Came with a mascara up there as well. So this packaging is nice. It's sturdy plastic, and then when you open it up, there you have your 12 eyeshadows and a nice little eyeshadow brush. The original Naked Basics palettes did not come with brushes. The original Naked palettes do come with brushes, so I think it's awesome that this one comes with a brush. This is the exact same price, $54, as the Naked palette. So like Naked Original, Naked 2, Naked 3, Naked Smoky are all $54. Basically equivalent in value to the original Naked palettes, but it's based off of the Naked Basics, which are all matte eyeshadow palettes. All matte eyeshadow palettes. The truth is, there's a couple, well, in this palette there's one shade that I don't consider matte, but I'll get to that in a minute. But I just want to give you an overview of the packaging. So it has a nice big mirror there, really nice mirror, like epically nice mirror. It stands up on its own. It can go all the way back, which I love for photography sake, you know, got to think about all the important things. And it stays up on its own as well, so that's awesome. Then, like I said, it comes with this awesome double-ended brush. It is a little bit different than any of the other ones, but I have been using it and I quite enjoy it. I enjoy this thicker, longer end for fanning out eyeshadow in my crease area, and then I enjoy this smaller end for smudging out, especially the lower lash line. I used this today on my lower lash line and I loved the effect that it gave. It just really blended the shadows out nicely. So I really do like this little brush so far. Okay, so I have to be honest with you guys, when I first started using this palette, I had trouble getting complete looks with the shadows, only the shadows in this palette. And I think part of the reason is that I'm not used to doing only matte looks. Like if I do just a matte look, there's like one look that's my go-to look, you know, it's just like a light color here and a little bit in the crease and stuff like that. But I'm not used to using different colors like this for a matte look. And as far as neutral matte shadows go, this is kind of a colorful palette. I mean, they're all neutrals, everyday shades, but it's still got quite the range. I mean, you have your dark, you know, very cool tone shades here, and then your purples here, you have your neutrals here, warmer tones here. I mean, you really have quite a variety of shades here, and that's really cool. But for some reason, I just wasn't feeling inspired until today. I finally got a little bit creative, went a little bit outside of what my brain was telling me to do, and I created a look that I'm happy with. I'm happy with how my eyes look today. And what I used today was I went all over the lid with this Pre-Game shade here, which is one of my favorite colors in this palette. It's just a perfect all over lid shade. Then I went in with Extra Bitter, and I went in the sort of outer area. I just kind of filled it all in, and the crease just a little bit. You can see that there. And then I combined with Extra Bitter, I actually combined Lethal, which, like I said, I had to go out of what my brain wanted to do because my brain didn't want to mix these purples with these warm shades. But when I mixed this one here, it looked really good. I think it looks pretty good. I think that the combination is good. This adds that a bit of depth and just interest to the combination, and they combined really well. So then I just kind of layered up this one and then added some more of this and added some more of this and blended it out and until I got a look that I liked. And then I went back in with Pre-Game over the sort of front half of the lid, if that makes sense. So I think that's really all that I used today. Yeah, that's all that I used today. So really simple look, and then I just combined the two again on the lower lash line, and like I said, I smudged it out with that brush, and I was really happy with this look. So now that I've sort of branched out of just using the palette the way that it's laid out, I've kind of branched out of that, I feel like there's a lot more opportunities, a lot more looks that you can get, and I'm excited to kind of experiment with that a little bit more, maybe trying with this shade a little bit. I don't know, I'm excited. But yeah, so like I said, my first impression was like, nah, I don't know. I mean, it's a nice compliment, but I don't know if I need it. But then after kind of stepping out of the comfort zone, I felt like it was really, I feel like it really is a fun, nice palette. And I know a lot of people have been telling me that they love this palette. It's their everyday go-to palette as of lately, and I think that's really cool, and I totally get that. I feel like this palette is an excellent complement to any other eyeshadow palette that you might have, and I also feel like it works really well on its own, so that's a really great thing. Okay, before I get into the swatches, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about this shade right here. This is called Blow. I'll swatch it for you. I don't know if you can even tell in the camera, but in real life, this is not a matte, and actually I have printed out the descriptions of all the colors, and they don't even describe it as a matte. They describe it as a demi-matte. So it's not, I don't know, does that make it a matte palette? I don't know, but anyways, it's a really pretty shade. It's just very, it just has that satin finish to it, so you want to be careful where you put it. It will draw attention to that area. So it's really nice for like a brow bone highlight or even an inner corner highlight, like a soft inner corner highlight. It's really nice for that. It's just not a matte shadow, so yeah. Okay, now let's get into some up-close swatches and detailed description of all of the shades in this palette. So the first shade is called Blow, and it's described as a light nude demi-matte. Then we have Nudie, a soft pink nude matte. Commando is a light taupe brown matte. Tempted is a pale brown matte. Instinct, a medium pink taupe matte. Lethal, a reddish brown matte. Pre-Game, pale yellow matte. Extra Bitter, a burnt orange matte. Faith, medium warm brown matte. Lockout, rich neutral brown matte. Magnet, smoky gray matte. And Blackjack, warm black matte. Each of these shadows contains 1.2 grams of product or 0.04 ounces. So as you could probably tell in the swatches, I do feel like a lot of these shadows need a little bit of work to make them work, and I kind of feel that way about all Urban Decay shadows, especially their matte shadows. I feel like they're not my favorite kind of matte shadows, but I do feel like they look really good on the skin once you get them to work. It just takes a little bit extra work, and if you have something like a sticky primer down, it'll really stick to that primer and almost get kind of patchy. So it's not my favorite matte eyeshadow formula, but it's really nice. Obviously I have plenty of palettes from Urban Decay, so I like them well enough, but I mean, personally, Lorac is still my favorite eyeshadow formula, but anyway, the shadows are very good. I definitely recommend laying down a powder base before you apply them. I recommend doing that with any shadow. So I wanted to quickly compare this palette to previous Naked palettes. So I'm going to start with the Naked Basics palettes and then just give you a quick glimpse of them compared to the previous Naked palettes, just in case you're curious. So here's the original Naked Basics eyeshadow palette. I remember when this came out, it was such a big deal. It's so cute and compact and I love it. I use it all the time. I mean, I don't use it as much as some other stuff just because, I don't know, I don't know. But I love this one so much. This again has that, I think it's out, this is almost more of a shimmer, not even a demi-matte, but it has that not matte shadow in it. It has Foxy, which is also in one of the other Naked palettes, Naked 2? Naked 1? I think Naked 2. And then all of these are original. And then it has Crave, which is this dark black, which I actually want to compare to the black in this palette. So this is Blackjack, and this is Crave. You can see Crave is way more pigmented, way more intense of a black. Not that that's like good or bad, it just is what it is, yeah. So Blackjack in the Naked Ultimate Basics is definitely a softer, almost more gray than black, whereas the Crave is super black. And then we have Naked 2 Basics, which has a little bit different color selection, but again, all neutrals. And again, with that shade here that's not matte, it's like shimmery, I don't know. It's fine, it's nice, it's just not matte. Just stop calling it a matte palette because it's not. This one is kind of cooler toned, and I feel like this one has more of a range, and this one kind of is like in the middle of that range. These are these two compared. Another thing I wanted to mention about this palette, the one color that I wish that it had was a lighter highlighter or a lighter shade, kind of like, no, not even like this one. So I feel like maybe like this kind of a matte shade would be really cool in here, or even if this one was matte, that'd be awesome. I don't mind it being a little bit of a demi-matte though, just for highlighting purposes, it's nice, but I feel like it might have been a better choice to just make it an all matte palette and keep that one matte, because I do kind of wish I had just a slightly lighter color than just this one, which I like this one, but yeah, I could use a lighter shade kind of like that. So I don't know. That's the one thing I would change about this palette if I could, but other than that, I really like it. I really enjoy it. Here is the original Naked palette next to the Naked Ultimate Basics. Here is the Naked 2 palette next to the Naked Ultimate Basics. I love this one as well. And here's Naked 3 next to Naked Ultimate Basics. I kind of feel like this is maybe the one that wouldn't benefit too much from this one. Like if this is your all-time palette, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. There's a couple shades in here that I could add to this palette to make it a cool look, but I feel like in general the shades are pretty different. But this is again a really beautiful palette too. And then we have the Naked Smoky palette and the Ultimate Basics palette. These ones are kind of similar. Definitely this would be a really great complement to this palette for sure. So if I was going to give this palette a grade, I would give it a solid A. Not an A+, just because it's not my favorite formula of eyeshadows, but I really do love them. I really do see myself getting a lot of use out of this palette, especially in coordination with other palettes that I own. I definitely will see myself reaching for this. And yes, it's a great palette, so I do recommend it if you think that you want a neutral palette and something great for every day. This is a really good one, and I do believe this is part of their permanent line. I don't think it's limited edition, but I will double check on that and put any details that I didn't mention in the description box below, so you can check that out for sure if you want more info. If you have any questions on this palette, leave it in the comment section below. Let me know. I love to answer your questions whenever I can, and if I can't, usually somebody else down there can, so that's always great. And yeah, that's it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. That helps other people find me in the YouTube world. And make sure you're subscribed. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you all. And I'll talk to you again very, very soon.